Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we back. So, get back to this reading fest. Before I get into that, though, there's some. Do another shout out to Miss Kiki Shepherd, man. The double earth, Kiki, two earths, the underworld, Amenta, on the top layer, the surface, as well as the sky. That's the double earth. And the shepherd, that's Osiris. And shout out to Judy. Y'all better give it up, man. Square business. That's all I'm gonna say. Shout out to Judy Pace too. Judy Pace, a little bit before my time. And I will probably have to get on talk about this later on down the line this week somewhere about these two. I don't want to throw off. I got a lot to cover right here, but I just want to give a shout out to Kiki Shepherd and Judy Pace, man. Judy Pace, I didn't know who she was. Bobby put me on her. One of the first videos I saw from Bobby, he was talking about beauty in Hollywood and how I can't remember what actually he was. I just remember him speaking about her. How she was like a black version of Marilyn Monroe, so to speak. And so I went to check out. I think she was in one of the movies I know she played in was Cotton Comes to Harlem. I think her daughter asked too. I went and checked it out. I said, oh yeah, I see what he was saying now. But I think what he was speaking towards was dark skinned beauty, because Hollywood or Follywood or whatever you want to call it. I don't even like calling it Hollywood, but it was Hollywood. They got a thing where, at least once upon a time, you kind of try to like shun the darker skinned women or whatnot. It all goes back from Willie Lynch. Pit the light skin against the dark skin. Stupid niggas bought into that within the past 15 years. You've seen it with the jokingly put on the internet, but niggas was, how niggas really be feeling. The light skin versus, I think that was like 2012 and shit. That's why I like this internet shit. You can see shit. Niggas get to putting their feelings out there. But we went through the light skin versus dark skin shit or whatever. It played out in niggerdom, in nigger time. So I think that's what he was. He was just trying to make the point of give an example of a dark skinned woman who was of a certain caliber of beauty. But shout out to them, man. Like I said, I don't know much about Judy Pace, but she is beautiful. I know she played in Cotton Comes to Harlem, if I'm not mistaken. But Kiki Shepherd is another thing, story right there. Hold the magic. All I'm gonna say is the last time I watched Showtime at the Apollo, since I've been my third eye's been fully open or whatever you want to say, magical shit happened. It was, I ain't gonna even get to it now, but yeah. So yeah, and go back to make sure I cover this. Like I was saying about Irish and Oris. I spoke about Irish, but Oris. See, you look at them, there's they both females, but I think Oris was actually a part of 702. I think Oris filled in for at one point in time when she was pregnant, if I'm not mistaken. But shout out to the whole group, man. Let them girls. That's another group I feel didn't get their just due. Because they was right up with, TLC had a little bit more fandom than them, but their influence, musically speaking, like where my girls at in Stilo, that is classic shit. Don't let nobody fool you. You might not hear, just like Aaliyah shit is not even, don't let nobody fool you, man. Aaliyah is not celebrated like she's supposed to be celebrated, at least within mainstream music or whatever, just like 702. Shit, Sub, and this how they came in the game with Subway, Subterranean, you know what I'm saying? Irish and Oris, the little people, the pygmies, the underworld, the inner world. They came in the game with Subway, which is a group from Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. That a bad motherfucker. The game we played, out of here. Bad motherfucker. Check it out. So that shit is all spiritual. But Irish and Oris, the Oris, I think we got Isis and Osiris. Isis, the I. We're talking about similar. So we're not just sisters, but see how that shit manifests though. Irish, Oris, I, O. And I just did some numerical shit on them. And I'll let you do your own fishing. You do it yourself. Figure it out. Maybe I'll come back and show you what I did. But when I finished, you know what I came up with? The gap in the fig tree. And I'll let you figure that. I'll let y'all do your own. I ain't gonna figure everything out for you, motherfucker. You put your own shit together. But where is it? This is the wildest shit ever. Because I just told myself I'm gonna put this shit where I can grab it and go straight to it. Boy. Man, this shit here is I just said it. I said, man, I'm gonna have this shit right where I need it. And what the fuck is going on here? Man. Hold up, man. This is some bullshit. Hiding shit for myself in this motherfucker. Let me lift these up anyway. But yeah. The gap in the fig tree. Fig is another, is used as a symbol for melanin. You know, figs are dark or whatever, and they're good for melanin and whatnot. I have to make me another one of these. This one here, I might go and retire this one, tape it up, and cause it didn't serve this purpose. It's just coming apart. I need to give me one that laminated, so I don't have to keep drawing them up. But this is the fig Newton. New. This is the male version of this is new, the dark new. It's the male version. It's the movement of the moisture in the melanin up top. The movement is activated by shooting the wind. The physical aspect of it, or the thick gel, would be newts. That's the T on it. And that's the female version of newts. Fig, newt, on. The fig, the newt, which is the darkness. Dark waters of noon, on. Newton, fig, Newton. The fig, the newt, the T, and the on. This is the fig tree. When it goes up, this goes up. Bow. These some semi come down. That's the fig tree. That's the gap, the gulf, the cleft, and the fig tree. But I'll let y'all figure that. Give y'all a little time, give you a little homework assignment. So, you did it right, yeah. So now, but yeah, but it's funny because like I said, I was telling y'all a story about the shower, how when I get in the shower, I do this. Like I find myself, like I say, not let me go here and do it this way. No, I said this happened. I just started doing this shit like 3 or 4 years ago. I caught myself. I'm like, damn. A lot of times I get the water, I just do it. Just some told me, you know, that spirit though. Sometimes the spirit moves through you and have you do something, and you won't be doing it consciously. You just subconsciously do it. So, but that's what I'm telling you about the earth making salat. What making salat is all you're doing when you make salat is imitating the earth when it tilts towards the sun. When you need to tilt towards the sun and do this, you're absorbing the light. So when I do this, I'm absorbing the water, or I'm praising the water, so to speak, or purifying my physical vessel, just as the fire from the sun purifies the inner self. That's why when you sweat, the hotter you get, the more you sweat, the more you purify yourself or push the fire. That's why it's less It's like you can eat toxic stuff and have less mucus in the summer because it's not just coming out through the mucus, it's coming out through the sweat as well. But in the winter, by you sweating less, the toxins have to find another way out, which is through the mucus. And one thing I just found out too, it's all nature shit, so it's all relevant. Well, it just came to me this morning. I went outside and came back in and started sneezing, which was good. Because I still had a little bit of fucking mucus up here. Like I woke up with like a sinus pressure. So I went outside and started sneezing. That's what it all came to. And I said, I see what it is. Nature is a natural cleanser. So those pollens, when you go outside, and people be like, well, I got sinuses, I got allergies. It's like, no, you got mucus. What we consider allergy attacks are actually the natural pollens of the earth entering your body and flushing you out. So if you got mucus in you, or you got a lot of mucus built up in you, when you go outside, when you inhale that air, the pollens and all the stuff coming from the plant life, it's purifying you, getting that shit out of you. But we not getting it. We thinking this shit is causing the mucus and shit. It's like, no, the mucus is already in you from the common the dietary habits that we have that are most common in America or in the world. So when you inhaling these pollens and shit, the pollen is actually purifying you, cleaning you out. That's why you react like that. You shit, you're sneezing and your nose gets running because it's trying to get the shit out of you. We don't get it because the only reason we don't understand is because we keep eating the shit and putting the shit in our body that creates the mucus. So you thinking the shit we eat is normal. And when you go outside, when you start inhaling these pollens and shit, that's actually the earth purifying you. Like son of a bitch. Kind of like Dr. Africa said with the sugar thing. He said, Mother Nature, I'm paraphrasing, he said, Mother Nature speaks to you. Mother Nature says, so you want to keep eating sugar, huh? Okay. Keep eating that shit and I'm going to keep taking your fucking teeth out your mouth. Now, the only way you can avoid that is if you eat the shit and brush the shit out immediately. But I wouldn't advise you. Like I say, find different sources of, like I say, fruits. They got other shit, look, in the sugar aisle and shit. They got shit that, might not be yoked as, it might be a little different than sugar. But trust me, it's better shit out there. Look into it. Look for sugar, natural sugar, or put natural sugar alternatives and you search in it or whatever, and you should find some shit. But that ain't it. The white sugar, pure cane, like I say, your teeth, pure cane sugar is pretty much cool. And I know what I did fuck my shit up. I fucked around and chose pills and shit. That shit total enamel, whatever protective barrier. That's why my shit is so fucked up. But it's good. Like I say, it's alchemy. I learned well. It's good. I can't. My teeth can't stand the bare sugar because bleach white sugar because that keep me from putting the shit in my body and fucking my central nervous system up or whatever. So everything all works out in the fucking end. If you make it work out, but yeah, I went through a phase where I was chewing the motherfuckers and that shit thick was fucking my teeth up or whatever. Never no more. But yeah, man. So when you go outside, that's what nature's doing. It's saying, hey, get this shit out your fucking body, man. It is flushing, but you just keep putting shit back in you or whatever. Cause like I said, it'd been times when I remember sitting on the goddamn me and my homeboy was sitting on the porch one day a long time ago, back when I was staying on a pump called Court Gables, which is that's key too because all this shit is my life is spiritual as motherfucker. Yours too, you tap into some shit. But I mean, we was one day, man, this nigga was sitting on the porch. We both was fucked up, just sneezing, allergy attacks and shit and whatever. But I know what it was. We pizza guys. Well, everybody like pizza, but I think it's because we was eating a lot of cheese and shit, a lot of milk. And you'll think, well, it's allergy season. But then I think like, well, this shit don't happen because this was in the fall. or like between August and September, like 9/7 or some shit like that. Which is wild because that's some of the shit I came up with the numerology. I just decided to tell the story, but the numerology on Irish and Orange, that's what came up. Irish came up as 7, and Orange came up as 9. No, Orange came up as 7. No, yeah, Irish came up as 9, Orange came up as 7. Excuse me. But shout out to the Irish and Orange twins, man. But like I said, I just thought that was interesting because when I was in the shower when she came through, and she told me take the R and put an L right there. So I was like, okay, Illis, all right. Got out, I put it in the show, Blind, the song Blind and Can't See. Bad motherfucker to hear that too. That's some song. They don't make songs like that no more. Cause everybody is ensconced in the idiotic shit. I mean, or the dumb shit. So niggas just roll with it. Don't nobody. We used to be ensconced in it too, but we used to have moments we would step outside the dumb shit and be like, okay, we on dumb shit. Look at us killing each other and all this type of shit music. Now niggas just go with the dumb shit. Far from I see. But I listened to that song, and that shit had some. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. I probably do that this weekend because I did it last year, but I forgot what happened. But I didn't get to do this because I was supposed to put all that in this. But we'll get into it. We'll make it a Saint Tupac season or something of that nature. It's spring because really that's all St. Patrick's Day represents, or Saint Tupac, or Saint Patty. We just say Saint Patty's Day to keep it safe. That's all it represents. That's why green and gold is the colors of it. It just represents the springtime. So we'll find some wood within the spring to bring it back up and get back in the girls. Like I said, I'm still doing the leader thing, but I just wanted to make sure I did this because I didn't get to do what I needed to do with get up with the girls like I wanted to. So I got out the shower and like I said, I cut that song on, and then after that, the D from Trinity Garden Cartel came on. We be the illest. I say, ain't that some shit? Illis, ILIS. This is right after I got out the shower. Not playing. I was playing on just listening to the show. I wouldn't even think about the illest song. And then I listened to that. Pimp C is on that joint too. Bad motherfuckers, you should check that out. But as I step outside my body, what do you say? Listen to the shit. Bad motherfucker. 90s shit. And they play this. You won't hear this type of music on the radio either. That type of song. I never even got the show album. But this song used to come on the radio. This is the type of song they had in regular rotation when I was growing up. You won't hear these kind of songs on regular rotation. But go listen to it. Show Blind and Can't See, featuring Pimp C. And I'll say, we be the illest. And then some other shit came. I can't remember, but it was awesome. She was a thing that day. That was last St. Patrick's Day. I think it was on St. Patrick's Day, if I ain't mistaken. But let me get back into the Irish Amenta thing. Break that on down. Let me see. Can I do this one? We're going for. Oh yeah, I did go out. Okay. I left out there. I don't want to repeat all this shit. This is already a lot of shit I just said. Let me see. Okay, I did. I remember seeing it. Okay. So I guess I'll start right here. application of the comparative method to the voyages of Meldoin and Brand. I think I did this. Let's see. Anyway, Meldoin and Brand will show that one of the most satisfactory survivals of the Camite wisdom is to be met with the Irish mythology and Martian. So it's basically saying, because that was like Bobby used to say, a lot of shit you ain't gonna find is you coming through me though. Like I said, I done put pretty much like the Isis Osiris myth. I'm well versed with Kemet, so not saying I know it all. I know probably still shit to find out, but for the most part, when you're dealing with the basics and the foundation, I got that shit sealed, signed, sealed, and delivered. But Bobby used to say, because that's what it was about. People supposed to come after the elders and figure this shit out. So when Bobby was around, he was doing this thing. He was saying it's good to study mythology from other places, because when they was doing all that digging in Egypt, a lot of knowledge got hidden and destroyed. Well, really hidden. They don't destroy shit. They'll tell you shit like, well, they burnt the Library of Alexander. Yeah, but you better believe white boy ain't stupid. He got all the fucking books out, then burnt it. Make you think, well, they burnt it, so that shit probably in the Vatican somewhere, or man, trust me, that's war tactics. Even when you go and run through when they used to go and run through cities or towns, or like when they ran in, look, I can't remember what book that was, but they say when Napoleon went up into Egypt and conquered it, when they was going back to France, nigga, the motherfuckers that they had motherfuckers who was, the motherfuckers that went, while they had niggas who was fighting, then you had motherfuckers who was retrieving all the knowledge, the books and shit. When they was going back, they would have a square around the motherfuckers who had the books, a particular square or circle around them to protect that knowledge while they was taking it back to Europe or whatever the fuck they was doing. So don't let them fool you. But he was saying it's good to study other mythologies, because you could the shit you can't get in Kemet that they trying to hide or whatever, or since everything got broken up, you can find in other parts of the world, which is true. But I pretty much gave you just giving you this right here is the whole Osirian lore, so there ain't nothing missing no more. All you gotta do is listen to my shit. You get everything. I can tell you everything it is to know about Osiris, Horus, Set, all that shit for the most part. It might be some little inkling shit that I'm gonna say don't matter, but I done pretty much figured all this shit out. No stones unturned. But just that's what you're saying right here. One of the most satisfactory survivals of the Camite wisdom is to be met with the Irish mythology and Martian. So he's saying that out of all the shit that got destroyed and buried or whatever, if you're trying to look for some shit that survives as far as knowledge, it would be Irish, which makes sense. Green, look at the Irish. Lucky. Aaliyah said the mailman's coming. Saint Tupac, the mailman's coming. The mailman. Birds are associated with mail because they used to have birds that were mail carriers. Birds, Horus, Tupac, Poetic Justice, the mailman. Yeah. So, the voyage of Horus and his companions in a solar bark that make a circle is repeated in the Imrams, or rowing about, of the Irish heroes and their associates in the boat. That's another thing too about Oris. Oris, O-R-I-S. First and foremost, the pantheon of pantheon of gods called the Orishas, which is the Voodoo? No, I can't remember, but that Orishas. But then or the oars that you use to row a boat, the oars of Isis. The paddles, these are the oars of Isis. These are the oars. The spinning of the earth corresponds to these, because they spin when you see it's like a helicopter spin, or the oars that propel the earth through its orbit. Oars of Isis, or ice. So This is the object of Horus or the deceased in the Egyptian ritual. They sailed together over the waters to the west until they came to a cliff so steep and high it seemed to touch the clouds. Now see, this is the little back. See this part right here, cause see, going to the west this is the west. This the sun sets in the west or sinks below the horizon in the west, and it rises in the east. So when this rises up, this would be compass by which is the north, but on an occult level, rising is associated with the east. So the rise will make this the east. When it sinks or falls back down, and boom, that'll be the west. When it sinks below the horizon, when the earth makes it appear to sinking by moving on up. So that first part, okay, so it's like the story's mixed right there. So it says, they sailed together over the waters to the west until they came to a cliff so steep and high it seemed to touch the clouds. And that part is not going to the west. This is the cliff or the mountain. The clouds is when this raises up, all the melanin on the surface, all the moisture and melanin rises up, creating, that's why I colored this blue, creating this water, and it would actually be a cloudy or mist around it. So this would, by the time all these lamps set up, basically what you would see, this would be obscure. You would see clouds or fog, but you would see the light shine piercing through the fog or whatever, creeping through the fog. That nigga know that dog. That would be the clouds. But if this is the east, that would be the east. It's the north when you north, south, east, west. But occultly speaking, it would be the east. But so it says they sailed together over the waters until they came to a cliff so steep and high it seemed to have touched the clouds. That's why I say it seemed to have touched the clouds, because it actually was in the clouds, but it or whatever. Diarmat undertook to climb the cliff in search for the missing men. He looked inland and saw a lovely country. He sets out to walk across the plain, and he sees a great tree laden with fruit. The walking across the plains is this. Because I'm saying it's all jumbled up. This is the plains. The flatlands. Once all this comes up and floods the top, once all the light comes and floods the top. The walking plain is when the moonwalk, when all this retracts back to here, being sucked up by that last spear, or that last border by the border. That's that walking across the plains. When they say Diarmat took to climb the cliff and search for the missing men, he looked inland and saw a lovely country, which would be inland. This is would be him looking inland. This would be the lovely country or whatever. The missing men, on one hand, would be those specks of light that got caught up in the gel. When I say the angel, the arm being the light, the angel arm, the gel being the vaporous liquid jelly of you got jellyfish deities into that correspond to that. But that shit they've been coming through too. But the melanin that drips down here as the light is going up. Some of that light gets caught on each one of those melanin clusters or whatever. And those men become missing because they come buried there, buried in the mesa where everything's all petrified or whatever. When you're going to look for the missing men, that's when the sun comes down. After, you can look at these as the missing men too. When all these go up and disappear, when that lightning strikes, the Shakya, the holy Vajra, when it strikes this, and that last little speck that was left behind comes back up, it's like it's going to look for those seven that's missing. But when it comes up, it gets encapsulated in its own little melanin cluster and rotates in a miniature version of this. And the sun comes back down, boom. Then the sun does what that just did going up. The sun does that coming back down when it shoots back down, and boom, hits this. Now the missing men that are down here on those melanin clusters. See, the missing men up here was the 7 spirits. That last part that went to look for the missing men was a little spark that was left behind. This time, look for the bigger light spirits. This time, the sun, which is a bigger spirit, comes. Boom, it looks for the little lights that are on the gel tips. So when it comes down here, boom, the sun, when this lifts up, frees them up. So these would be souls on those melanin clusters. So when each one of these busts through, like I said, once you got an orbit goes to its orbit, and then you got the little specks of light that are souls that come up here and fall into the human bodies that are constructed. Or whatever human body, or the souls of the human bodies that are shaped and molded up here, waiting to be ensouled or waiting to be filled with souls so they can pop up and come to life. So, the voyage of Malduin is undertaken by him in search of his father's murderers. This is the object of Horus or the deceased in the Egyptian ritual. They sailed together over the waters to the west until they came to a cliff so steep and high it seemed to touch the Daramat undertook to climb the cliff for the Midianite. He looked inland and saw a lovely country. He sets out to walk across the plain. He sees a great tree laden with fruit. This is surrounded by a stone enclosure or a circle of pillar stones with a large round pool of water clear as crystals in the mist which bubbled at the center and flowed away to nourish all the land. See, that's jumbled up too. The tree laden with fruit. This would be the spiritual tree. All this would be light when all this is set up. Then this is a tree too. These are the fruits, the apples. That's why Bobby used to say apple, and apple was another word for melanin, because the melanin clusters were spears or like apples. The crystal clear water is the moon up here, right here. That's the crystal clear water, but it's frozen, and the moon in the tree would be right here in the middle. So the missing men who are spirited away denote the mains. The mains is basically, really you can say that's us now. The physical world can be considered the Amenta. Because basically how it goes is you pass on, and your soul has to travel through the darkness of Amenta to see if it can pass on and go to what now would be called heaven these days. But on a grander scheme of things, you can look at this as Amenta. And your journey and quest through your physical life is the maze that you go through to purify yourself and unblock the heart chakra, raise up to the heaven, and awaken your soul. Because that's what your soul is. Your soul is in you. Now, if you're not doing the work and your soul is just trapped, like, bitch, do something. I want to be free. I want to, and when I say free, it ain't necessarily meaning leaving the physical body, but just being acknowledged so that it can operate with you. Tell you, once you do that, that's why all this shit be happening, all these synchronicities, and because I'm operating from a soul level. I'm not operating from pure physical or pure animal level. You need the animal level or the physical lower self to survive. That's what it's called, make Sambo, combining the two worlds, combining the spiritual with the physical. They say that that's why Ishtar, which is what we're going into for Easter, is this weekend, really. Easter is the vernal the fall of spring equinox. Easter, that's when the earth is on the is west of the sun, sinking below it, and to the east of the earth is the sun is seemingly rising to the east of the earth or whatever, just like the sun rises on Earth's east axis or whatever. Ishtar was died. When they tried to deny Ishtar access to the underworld, she said, "I will force my way in, break the bolts, and raise the dead up." That's what that refers to the creation process. Because the sun is not, it's a physical aspect. Like I said, the light is the physical aspect of the sun, but the burning black ball is the woman. So this is Ishtar, the descent of Ishtar too. But the earth is actually the earth, but that part would be when the sun comes down, boom, these are the locks. It's locked down here. She breaks the bolt. That's why she had to take off her earrings. Earrings, her head. She had to take off her headdress, her earrings, her bracelet, her girdle, ankle bracelets, foot, something like that. But each one with a piece of jewelry she took off was symbolic of one of the seven chakras, and the headdress was this right here. This crown, this would be the crown chakra. This would be the they say we got eighth chakra, the visible, the halo. So when she goes through all this is her breaking the bolts and raising the dead, those little spirits or the souls. That's on one hand. Another version of it is shit I'm doing right now, just by speaking of Aaliyah, invoking Aaliyah, Irish, Oris, Michael Jackson, Muhammad Ali, all that is raising the dead up. When you put them t-shirts on with Muhammad Ali and Aaliyah on them and John Henry Clark and all these guys, that's what we're doing now. We're no longer looking at them like they dead and can't do nothing for us no more. We're looking at them like we can invoke them and they can still help us from the other side. Like I say, you want to know some good books to read? Read books and call on John Henry Clark. And I'll give you another one. It's called bibliographies. When you get books, look in the back of them and see what books that the author used to create the book you read, and it'll take you on further in your journeys or whatever. Let me do something real quick. But yeah, Ishtar is the earth. Jesus rises, or Christ rises, Christ the Son rises in the spring, and the earth goes under. It's just like Ishtar goes under. Ishtar, I-S-H, Ish means arrow, it also means light. Tar is darkness, blackness, the Tar Heels. Ishtar, the light in the darkness. Orange gel, light, gel, jelly melanin, darkness. Ish, light. They say the stake in the heart of the vampire. The stake is the light. The vampire will be the darkness or whatever. Whatever. So that's the thing with that. But the way across the water to the west was the road of the souls along the solar track. The solar track. The solar track. This is the track. All you can look at this like a track. Don't it look like a track? This you don't want to. You don't see. Occultly speaking, you want your soul to be in the middle. That's why you have to be centered. When you identify with going this way or that way, you're fucking up because you either going absolutely this way or you're going absolutely that way. That represents a soul that is not centered. That's why this is like would be what. This would be what hell would be. What Christians consider hell, this would be that. The place you don't want to go. Where you don't want to be mentally. You want to be centered. You want to teeter-totter. You might have to do your masculine shit 1 minute, feminine shit 1 minute. But you want to piddle. You want to, what I call the middle pillar teeter-totter. That's what my shit. The middle pillar, I got that in the rhyme too, so don't bite my shit. The middle pillar teeter-totter. The middle pillar teeter-totter. The incredible pepper sprinkle law. You know, they got a deity that's harmful to kids, but they say the way you heal the kid that is harmful, you rub pepper into the wounds created by the that entity or whatever. That's why when you go back to She's All That. You see a little brother in the cafeteria, he come through saying, pepper. He got the pepper shaker. Now I came up with the rhyme, not even thinking about that movie or knowing before I even knew about that wicked entity. But I came up with the rhyme. I was like the incredible pepper sprinkler, blah blah. I can't remember what else I said, but yeah. Show you where I'm at with this shit. Show you what you're dealing with. I'll let you know you're dealing with dog. Yeah, boy. That's right. Word to X. Where's my boy X, man? That ain't nothing but the earth. This here ain't nothing but this is this. That, the skull for the earth, and the X. The cross and the X is the same thing. The X just represents, if you was to look at this from like this, look at it head on as a cross. But if you was looking at it from right, say you was right here looking up at it, it'd be an X. That's the angle. So the X symbolizes looking at the cross from an angle. And the cross is representing looking at it from head on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I gotta get ready for this book. I ain't gonna stall too much out for you. I'm gonna dance with y'all a little bit, but I gotta some of this shit I gotta say from a book, man. I can't get y'all everything no more. Well, I can. At least after I get the first book out, it'll be a release, because I can go back to just freely speaking how I want to speak. But certain shit, I'll be having to catch myself like, I better say that for the book. But I can get it out. I can get it out. Throw you a few. But I think I know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna, yeah, stick around. So, the steep and very lofty cliff, I was saying this would be the solo track. But I was showing y'all this. Like I said, what am I doing? I'm letting it go. And my two guys keep these together. But you probably can't see this. Shout out to DMX, man. My boy Dark Man. Earl. Mr. Simmons. But this is some Matrix shit. You see the zeros and the ones? Yeah, close enough you'll see it. It's kind of hard to see, but you see the zero and the ones. The I and the O. I showed y'all that already, but the 0 and the 1. There can only be one. So, let's get it on. Pick my boy up. Boy, Care Bears. Childhood shit. Now, the lovely country of the plain was the field of Aru in the Egyptian lower paradise. With the enclosure that protected it from APAP. It's well of water as the living source of all supply. Its tree of life that bore the unforbidden fruit and other features of the mythos are identified by Egyptians. So he's showing you the reverse. See, the Bible is some bullshit. You're supposed to eat the apple. The apple is the pineal gland. The serpent is the kundalini energy. When it raises up, it comes up and eats or partakes of the pineal gland. And then it has the knowledge of God. But so they trick you and make you think that knowledge is forbidden. Oh, so he's ate the apple when he's become like one of us. No, that's bullshit. There ain't nothing spiritual about that. It's the opposite. You're supposed to raise yourself up and become a God. That's why I said, Christians be like, oh, they ain't gonna talk in that moment. No, it's in your Bible. It says it. Didn't I say ye are God stands in the God judges amongst the gods? And said Psalms 86, I think. I'll find it, but it says, didn't I tell you that ye are gods? And the scripture cannot be broken. God judges amongst the mighty or some whatever. I'm gonna find it, but so yeah, we busting all that shit up. In the opening of the ritual, a hero enters the vessel of Kamite Charon, the Char-on, there go another one, charcoal, black, on, light. And addresses the helmsman and the sailors, shameless plug. He is the search of his father Osiris, who has been murdered by Sut, and says, I am the beloved son. Now, there's many different things you can use Osiris as a metaphor. Even our parents, those that just can't get this information, or the ones that's elders that came before us that can't grasp this, they're Osiris, they're dead in Amenta. So, us coming in, raising up the people that can actually grasp this information is the Horus aspect. Osiris is those who went through the Middle Past in slavery and all those years that we went dead to who we really are on slave plantations. When we come out of slavery, we think we were just pimps and hoes and gangsters and number runners and just dead to the God in us, thinking we were below white folks, and all that shit is Osiris. This is the Horus age. That's what the golden age is about. The Horus rises age. That's what this shit is about. Every argument I get into it with my old man about some religious shit, I be like, it's cool. I'm gonna go get on this camera and kick ass to make sure we don't go through that no more. That's how you have to look at shit. You can't. I don't get mad. They don't want to listen to the. It's cool. I'll make sure this shit don't happen no more. With this knowledge. So the next group of parents will be raising this shit up with the proper knowledge. So Osiris was is opening of the rituals here, or like my mother. I tried to tell my mother, my mom Christ. She was like, start talking about the shit on my leg. Love that crazy maniac. But yeah, the last time I stayed with her, I was trying to tell her, even if you think I'm crazy, at least say, where the hell you get that from? Or niggas, you crazy? She just zoned off and shit. I was like, whatever. So, but anyway, in the opening of the ritual, the hero enters the vessel of the Kamite Karan and addresses the helmsman and the sailors. He is in search of his father, Osiris, who has been murdered by Sut, and says, I am the beloved son. I have come to see my father, Osiris, to pierce the heart of Sut and to slay the conspirators, Horus being like the Muldoon, the avenger of his father. Amenta is the land of life. The sun sets into the land of life. It is the land of the tree of life and the water of life, in which the dead become the living and resting in the land of life. The mountain in the west is called Mount Unku, the Mount of Life, because Ankh means life. Unku, the Ankh means life. The U, they got to pay attention to the shapes and shit. The U, they be talking about, the American language is fucked up. They perverted it a little bit, but even the alphabets come from us. There ain't nothing outside of us. This is the U. A's, uppercase A's represent the light. This is Osiris, cut into 14 pieces. 7 light, 7 dark. The big A. This is the little A's. The small drops of light on the lowercase A's. This is the U. Show you the Ankh. This is the Ankh symbol. The Ankh. This is the real. Can't really see. It's kind of because I see what I did there. That little the ray of light would be the bottom of the Ankh or the pillar. This would be the circle on the top or whatever. It'd be the circle on the top of the Ankh symbol. So we gas. Fire. Well, like Beavers used to say, fire. Reminded me of a rhyme I wrote, but I would dare not say that one on here because that was a bad motherfucker. Bad motherfucker. So, oh boy. But matter of fact, we pause this shit right now, right? So yeah, I have to take a moment. Cause I'm trying to figure out how I want to put that rhyme, and it just came to me. I have to pause for the calls. One more thing. Yeah, that'll be it. So anyway, hordes being like, okay, I said that already. Amenta is the land. I already said that. One name for the mount in the Egyptian. One name for the mount, otherwise the horizon in the Egyptian is Sut or Set. Su, but he put a question mark with Su, because Su is a little different. Su is the great calculator. Su is the goose. But we'll get into that. I'd probably break that down later. But I already broke that down when I was talking about Tommy. How Tommy's the great calculator. The goose. When these raised up, see how this looks like a goose beak? This is the when all this goes up, you can look at this as like the neck, and then this being the goose, but at the same time, the calculator will be, because all this is silence, but when the noise starts, when this comes back down and bow, hits that right there, the great calculator, and then she starts rising, but this would be the goose, the great calculator, born out of the egg. But there's a little thing with that, but the rock hill or the mount which agrees with the Irish seed for the hill lock in the mound of the unseen world. So that's why I say you got the seed. This is the seed, the center. Cities are the center points. Cities are like center points. You got to surround the little small towns around them, but the cities are the metropolis. The city is spelled S-I-D sometimes, and it's spelled S-I-D-E. The city. He must produce a city, a seed. This is what they were talking about. Sambo, Black God of Asia. Check it out. A must see. Trust me on this one. Might save you a lot of trouble too. I'll be telling you I ain't the one to fuck with. I got proof of that when you go watch that. Don't do it to yourself, buddy. Which agrees with the Irish seed for the hill lock. Because they're telling you about the locks, the hill, the locks, in the mound of the unseen world. The mounds were made as dwellings for the dead. And the Irish legends, the people of the other earth, the Tuatha Danan, the wee folk and fairies. Wee folk, we mean small, the little people, whatever. Wee folks and fairies are dwellers in a world that is represented by the hill lock of the mound. Tease a large seed, put the I, replace the I with E, seed. You know, we spell it with two E's, but that's why I gotta play around with this shit. Seed, this is the seed. This the seed. This goes up. This becomes this. These seven follow and plants itself inside it like a seed. Then this comes, the sun comes right here, comes back down, plants itself right there like a seed, pushes this up. The seed, the good seed. This is where it's spelled with an E right here, but it says the mounds are the dwellers of the, the Tuatha Danan, the wee folk and the fairies are dwellers in a world that is represented by the hill lock of the mounds. Sees a large seed, or seed, in which the AES, the S, AES, AES, you spell that back with that C, we'll come back to that maybe. C dwell, therefore equivalent to the mount, and their hollow in the mount is one with the Camite Amenta. So it's comparing the Irish and the Celtic thing, the Camite and the Celtic thing. Something else too. That's what I want to tell you. The seed. Id is the fire. This is the id. Another breakdown of it. The sparking is the id, the ID. The S is when it rises up and it's spinning, or the serpent, or the twirling, or the swirl as it goes up. The swirl id, S id, the seed. can go for days with this shit, man. No joke. Therefore, the equivalent to the mount and the hollow in the mount is one with the Irish Amenta. There is no consciousness of time in this happy other world. Those who have dwelt there for centuries have seem to have been there in no time. There is one way of identifying the land with the earth of eternity. The Irish neither world is the land of the ever-living ones. As an irresistible lure to men, it is set forth as the land of the ever-living and ever-lovely women. And the Egyptians, that's the whole thing. That's what Islam gets this whole, when you get to heaven, you're going to get 90 virgins and all this shit. And all the pretty women and shit, that's where they get that from. See what I'm saying? The Islam there, you get 80 virgins or some shit they was, I don't, not well versed in Orthodox Islam, but I remember that part right there. That's where they get it all lines up. In the Egyptian ritual, Nut, the jackal god, the swift runner, who was the earliest of the Mercury preceded, taught Hermes. Get my shoes out. Nah, we got them this time. Yeah, you seen the kicks. Yeah, Hermes, Virgo. That's why I keep a fly kick game, because I'm a Virgo. Virgo falls under Mercury. Mercury is Hermes. Hermes, the symbol of Hermes, or Mercury, is the winged shoe, or the ankle with the wings on it. All of it, everything is everything. The fly kick game, consume all. Yeah. So, the swift runner, and I got a mean run game too. I got a story. That day I got into I had the Hulk Hogan moment. They had to get the nigga off me. I had to run from the police that day too. They caught me, but they caught me because I slowed down. It was at Charlestown Mall and shit. I'm running towards 59. And in Houston, you know what this is. You don't go to Charlestown. I'm running towards 59, and I see the chopper in there, and I'm like, yeah, I might as well stop running now because I ain't got nowhere to hide. But I was running so fast when the lawman caught me. He said, I thought it was bullshit. When I stopped, they would caught me anyway. I'm running through a parking lot. They come through in the truck and shit. But one of them put a lot of gun on me. I'll tell a story. I was really tripping. But the adrenaline pumped. I'm trying to go in between some cars because I knew the laws was coming. Yeah, I'll tell a story. I'm probably to get into that whole, the debacle we had with those guys, just for fun. It was maybe over the summer story or something. But I took out, boom. When they finally caught me, the lawman was like, hey man, did you run track? I'm thinking, because the police, they finally get you, they like to talk shit, make jokes and shit. I'm thinking he, being funny and smiley and shit. So he's like, I'm not looking at him. He's like, you ever ran track? I was like, nah, man. I started laughing. And then when I started laughing, I was like, nah, man. And that nigga looked at me with the most serious face ever and said, no, I'm serious. You should run track. See, he was trying to be funny, like, oh, run, nigga, run. Or he was like, whatever he saw when I got to cutting up, that nigga said, he looked at me and he said, no, man, I am serious. You should run track or something. Yeah, so the swift runner. These are the type of things you be doing with your life too, seeing how you correspond to these things. And just sometimes it's either small shit, sometimes it be shit you don't even think may be something, but you have to be somebody that's conscious. I always, like I say, I'm the in the moment type of guy. That's why I'm into shit like the way the light shimmers off of the grass in the morning and shit. And I remember certain moments for no reason. Just remember shit. Like I remember when one day we was riding bikes on a gray day, me and my partners riding up Bissonnette, some young kids and shit. And I remember that's when, ooh, girl, I wanna sex you up. It just came out and shit. I just remember riding down the street, jamming it in my head on a particular gray day. Nothing special happened that day. I just remember this shit. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. Color me bad. Right? Well, I apply that same type of thinking to other moment, and then them shit end up meaning some shit later on down the line. But if I wouldn't have just got caught in that moment, I wouldn't be able to put the pieces together. That's why memory is, like I was saying in the Leah joint, well, this is all related, but this is more so it's dedicated to all of them, but I didn't want to put this under the Aaliyah series because I want Irish the Oris to have their own separate thing, but they all want 90s girl power shit. We enough. Where my girls at? Yeah. So yeah. The Irish Neither World. The swift runner, whose earliest form of Mercury preceded top Hermes, is the god of waves in the astral mythology and the conductor of souls in the eschatology. Anoop was not Anoop on up. There go another one. We're gonna get in there with y'all, boy. On. This is on. This is on. On up. Anoop. The dog that leads the way, like the hound leads the hunter. When he lets it go, he goes and sniff. The hound goes up. The seven follow him. Anubis, the jackal, the jack owl, the jack of the stars. The owl is the stars. The jack is jacking it up. You jack the owls, or you jack out the stars. That just came to me too. I'm swift runner. I got some things to do with it. We'll be back though getting this. Believe that. Peace.